Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I'm Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, tonight I've got something that I've kind of zoomed out and I've noticed. And the question I'm going to pose to you in this whole video's content is the ATF not being used as an executive branch issue? Is it being used as an election issue for the Democrats in 2022? I've got a lot of pieces and I'm picking this up and I'm starting to see a pattern emerging. You know how I like me some patterns and I love sharing them with you. Everything is going to be linked in the description box below. Tell me in the comments if I'm off my rocker or if I'm onto something, because I want to hear what you guys think. This is a two-way conversation and we're going to get into this in 1 second. I got to say two things really quickly. One, the video that I did this morning, I posted it, I put it up, and I found a pretty critical error in the video after I posted it. I had to mark it private and remove it because of two reasons. One, conciseness, accuracy, and dependability is something that is crucial to this channel. We have to be almost perfect. In order to do that, I have to be willing to take down videos that there are mistakes, and that's exactly what happened this morning. So if you saw something there, it was like you couldn't click on it, you couldn't watch the video, it was nothing that YouTube did or you did wrong. I made a mistake in the video, I own that, so I take it straight down, and I'm going to give it another crack tomorrow with the proper information so we can really set the standard straight. That is incredibly important for our movement. We have to be almost perfect, and that did not meet those standards, and so I pulled it. Hopefully it's okay with you guys, and we are going to go forward strong on this, and I'll get that same content for you tomorrow, amended in the correct way. The second thing is, we are driving towards the 400,000 mark for subscriber by June 1st. If we earn that subscription on this channel, we need more troops in the fight to spread this out and to join and see these messages, and that is something that is so helpful. So if we earn it, make sure you do that because we'd love to have you here. Now, let's dive into my thought process here on the ATF, get back to the content of the actual video here. So I'm going to lay you out. I'm going to lay this out. I'm going to zoom back, lay it out for you. Check this out. This is what's been happening in the last 2 weeks for the ATF specifically, because they kind of came out of nowhere. Chuck Schumer announces $1.5 billion push for interstate gun task force. Now that was talking about him giving a $1.5 billion bonus to the ATF on top of their existing budget in the new upcoming budget of this year. So you're trying to squeeze in money for the ATF, the enforcement arm of the executive branch of the DOJ. Biden turns his focus to gun violence as Democrats try to shed defund the police label. In that, he was talking about funding the ATF and utilizing them in the fight against trafficking guns. It was a collaboration in the New York governor's little initiative around trafficking and gun violence and things of that nature. You guys remember all the raids and all the triggers and all the letters and all the stuff that's going on with confiscation around these triggers? Remember that? There's another thing. Jared, my good buddy from Guns and Gadgets, we know when the ATF frame receiver and pistol brace rules will come out. They're going to come out directly before the election, about 2 to 3 months before the election. Coincidence? Just wait and you guys tell me. And now we've got another thing coming out of Philadelphia, and this is the article point we're going to hit. ATF lacks funding to crack down on Philadelphia's gun violence crisis, advocacy group says. I think they're going to use the ATF as a evidence to say, we're fighting gun crime, we're tough on crime, we're the Democrats, we can do this, elect us, look what we did for the ATF, because they can't go through legislation. I think that's what's going to happen, but let's dive in. Again, let me know if you think and you agree or disagree. Philadelphia. President Biden's visit to New York on Thursday was intended to heal and talk about gun violence and trafficking that has led to mayhem in the city. Officials say Philadelphia is obviously dealing with the same problems, referring to New York. Now the question remains whether the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives is up to the work of cutting gun violence in the city. Red flag. That's not what their job is. Their job as a federal agency to regulate the laws that are passed around firearms, not to combat crime in the streets of different cities. They are not a police force. Really important distinction, and that is a slippery slope to perdition. Along with police, it's the role of the ATF to combat gun violence. Wrong again. The leader of the National Gun Safety Group says ATF is not up to the job, so they're creating an onus, right? Here's the need, here's the solution. I created the need, I give you the solution. Look how well that worked out. Robin Lloyd of Giffords, founded by former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, seriously injured in a shooting, because you have to throw that in there for no reason, says ATF does not have the resources to aggressively disrupt the flow of illegal firearms and hold gun traffickers responsible. So now they don't have the funds. That kind of ties into what Schumer said with $1.5 billion. Also what Biden said. Also tying into when they're going to come out with the rule and receiver braces and all those changes right before the election. You starting to see it? Matthew Varisco leads the Philadelphia office of the ATF. He argues his agency works closely with police to pull crime guns off the streets, but admits ATF falls short on yearly inspections of Pennsylvania's 3,100 federal firearm dealers. So they're underfunded, they can't do their function, and they're being propped up across the board by the prominent Democrat leaders. Does this sound like ATF is going to be influenced into, how do we say that? Utilized as a bludgeon for Democrats to say, see, we're tough on crime, to get rid of the defund the police model. The ATF has come out of nowhere, and they are coming up and showing up every single place you can imagine with really not a lot of consequence, just throwing the name out there, throwing funding out there. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments field below, and I will see you on tomorrow morning's Bullet Points. I'm Braden. See you later.